your favorite person on the planet, or at least maybe two or three of you this is. And yeah, believe it or not, this is day 2 of 365. I'm keeping my eyes out. There is a cat that is being kind of an asshole right now. Uh, I might introduce you here in a second. We'll see. But stop being a douche. You know, I love animals. I think they are far better than human beings. Sometimes, though, you just want to do things that are great and pet them and stuff like that. So just sit down, relax, chill. His name's James. He's my mom's, but he's cool. If you're a pet owner, you know, anytime you try to do something, it's, hey, what about me? Kind of like dating. Yes, I will go there. But anyway, we're day 2 here. I'm shocked that I was able to do day 2. Tomorrow I'm hopefully going to get on here and do day 3. We're going to be trying to get live streams 365 days this year in 2026. As mentioned in the description, if you ever read these things, some of these might be boring as fuck. 2 minutes, 5 minutes, where I just kind of ramble about some random ass shit. Maybe we'll tap into the social medias. Some of it we'll talk about some news. We'll talk about shows, TV. We'll talk about politics, the whole 9 yards. Today, I am so excited for California, which we'll get into because, yeah, if you're in California and you own a firearm, you now get to carry it. So we'll go into that a little bit. But just so I can kind of remember again, start off this show like we did last time. Let's see if this works because obviously I want to get into new editing techniques with this stuff. And let's start the show. Hey, and it does go right back. Okay, cool. So I think the problem I had with that last time was it's on like a loop, which I do with the again, the AI drinking the cup thing. So not that anybody gives a shit about that, but I think I figured out the title sequence, which is nice. But yeah, so let's get into the great news out of California. And I'm going to be using, of course, liberal news because I think, again, it's important to do that. You know, I look at Louder with Crowder. All of their news resources come directly from liberal websites to basically prove that this isn't bias. This is genuinely, this is real, this is legit. And God bless you for living in California right now because, again, let's share this article here. It's from NBC, and we'll go over it here just a little bit. Let me go ahead and set this up. Boom, boom, boom. So, yeah, if you currently live in California, the ban on openly carrying firearms is unconstitutional in an appeals court. So, basically, to dumb this down, you basically have the right to carry your firearm in California because it is the Second Amendment. And yeah, it's just how it should be. So let's see. A U.S. appeals court on Friday ruled that California's ban on openly carrying firearms in most parts of the state was unconstitutional, which it is. A panel of San Francisco-based Ninth Circuit's Court of Appeals sided 2-1 with a gun owner in a ruling that the state's prohibition against open carry in counties with more than 200,000 people violated the U.S. Constitution's Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. About 95% of the population in California, which has had some what does it say? Which has had some of the nation's strictest gun laws, which, dear God, they do, live in counties of that size. So again, this is just great news because it's bullshit. You are legally allowed to carry. You should be allowed to carry. And anything that regarding says that you can't is total and absolute bullshit according to the Constitution. So let's see. U.S. Circuit Judge Lawrence Van Dyke was appointed by Republican, obviously Trump, said the Democratic-led state's law could not stand under the U.S. Supreme Court's 2022 landmark gun rights ruling. And again, we won't go into that, but I recommend you look into it because it just reinforces everything that we talk about when in relation to gun laws, that basically The Second Amendment allows you to carry as well as own firearms in this country. It's a debate we can go on for hours, weeks, days, etc. But the bottom line, what it comes down to is, and I love this quote here: the historical record makes unmistakably plain that open carry is part of this nation's history and tradition. So, the beautiful thing about all of this, let's get into just briefly here. If you are a gun owner, or if you're not, I actually am. And just to show you here, for Christmas, I treated myself. Let's get back to the solo page here. I got brand new. Let's see if we can do this camera right here. Yeah, there we go. So T-Rex Arms is a company that makes custom cases, and because I have a electric lime green truck, I figured why not? Let's put my new pew pew in there. Same thing with I have many firearms, by the way, which I'll one day, we'll do an episode on that too, where we'll go over that. YouTube will probably kick me off, but fuck them. They can go fucking eat their thingamajigs. So yeah, just as a heads up, this thing is unloaded. There's nothing in there. So nothing's in the chamber, just because, again, I know people get fucking weirded out about that shit. Because apparently I can shoot you through a screen. Because that makes sense. But yeah, anyway, the T-Rex firearms also, they just had a sale on these new lights. These, I think it's Streamlight, yeah. So super duper epic. This is my Q5 match. It's a Walther. Walther is the only way to go, by the way. I know many will have a debate with me on that, but again, beautiful. You got to get the kids presents for Christmas as well. So again, super duper awesome light here. Obviously, this is my favorite gun right here. Obviously, shooting it is beautiful and amazing. And then again, like I said, they make these most amazing custom holsters for you. So if you are ever walking around with me in the wherever I might be, because I'm not going to tell you where I am, I'm going to be carrying, just as a heads up. So if you don't like it, don't hang out with me. If you do like it, you're actually probably going to feel safer, because believe it or not, I've said this 1,000 times on this channel. I'll say it 1,000 times more throughout history, shall we say. It is only when good people with guns that are able to carry said guns that are able to actually protect you from the bad people with said guns. Look at the world the way it is right now. I'm not going to go down that road of statistics of polls or whatever. Whatever you want to call it. The bottom line is, you are safer when people have weapons than when people don't. Safe spaces result in more people dying from guns than they don't, or do, or you know what I'm talking. Words, I can't talk right now, but you get where I'm going with it. Bottom line is, I recommend you legally acquire a firearm, you legally train yourself how to use it, and you legally get permits or documentation that allow you to carry it. Again, many states in this country have pretty strict gun laws, and those places usually have some of the most violent criminals, violent XYZ you want to put in here. And those states that don't have as many strict gun laws actually turn out to be the safest places on the planet. So, two and two together, pretty sure we can go with what that equivalates to. It just means you're going to be safer being with somebody that knows how to use a gun, safely owns that gun, and safely knows how to use said gun. So, just wanted to get that out. I think it's great news. I really, really do. Credit to California, because, dear God, you people are just, sometimes I don't get it. I used to live down there. I will never go back there ever again in my life. The laws, the level of illegal immigration, everything in between that just punishes law-abiding citizens in California is absolutely amazing to me, that people still stay there. It really, really does. I would encourage you to get out as quick as you can, although it is a beautiful place. I don't know. I'm sure there's many roads you can go down with that, but yeah, congratulations, California. You finally did something good, and I respect it. I really, really do. So moving on, let's move on here. Let's get into a little bit of the socials, and then we'll wrap this episode up. So again, kind of like I mentioned, we'll kind of go just randomly. Let's just take a look at some of my socials. I don't know if I'll have to say this every single time, but the bottom line is everything you see on my socials, just a heads up, is nothing to do with my opinion. Simply just things that I follow and things that I subscribe to, blah, 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 blah. So let's look at, go to my Instagram feed here. Would you look at that right out of the gates? Yeah, so let's see. Ninth Circuit just ruled the ban on open carrying firearms is unconstitutional. So, yes. Basically, to Mr. Gavin Newsom, I might have something in my eye here. I don't really know what it is, but yeah, anyway. Uh, I love this because, again, this man is. If you've read the Bible, you can imagine there was a certain character in the Bible. This man is that, and I'm not talking about Jesus. The opposite is who this guy is right here. So it's gonna make his year start off so beautifully. This unconstitutional aspect, but let's see. May your 2026 be as successful as a 2025 Somalian daycare. Oh yes, 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 yes. Dear God, people, how this is going to turn out, I don't know. Quite frankly, though, I've mentioned this last time. There needs to be arrests. There needs to be serious. I don't know what the right word is. I'm terrible with words. I need to read a dictionary again or something. But what it comes down to is when it comes to the welfare state in this country, it needs to be shut down now. And it needs to be shut down for quite some time until they get it figured out and reboot it completely. I'm sorry, but this welfare state in this country is a joke. People want to talk about the healthcare system. People want to talk about hashtag capitalism, whatever you want to call it. I'll talk about the welfare state. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And quite frankly, there are millions upon millions of people out there that complain about said capitalism or, I want to say taxes, et cetera, things like that. I mean, just look it up alone. Just for a heads up, I don't know if you ever know this. The more you know, NBC, the little star thing. Just a heads up for tax season, you realize that over 50% of Americans do not pay taxes, just as a heads up. So for those, the rich need to pay more and blah 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 blah. You might want to look into the fact that over 50% of this country doesn't pay taxes. So who's paying for the rest of it? Oh, that's right. The rich people are. So are they really the bad guys? Because if you ask me, somebody who's a billionaire, millionaire, pretty sure they did it on their own. They are successful. Sure, maybe they didn't do it in a legalist way. I don't know again the words for that, but ultimately, I don't. If you're a billionaire, great, you did something right. Elon, you look at Elon, most richest guy on the planet. Look at what he's done. The man has literally sent a rocket into space and captured it on a fucking platform. Give him a break. So anyway, Emily King, obviously another one is a good follow if you want to follow about dating in the world of today. The fact that men are basically bowing out, including yours truly, because not a chance in hell would I ever date in this day and age, just because of the sheer lack of integrity, the sheer lack of communication skills, the sheer lack of critical thinking skills in the relation between men. Also, believe it or not, men are human beings too. I know it's a crazy fucking concept, but yeah, men, believe it or not, have emotions as well. Crazy. Let's see. Japan to require foreigners to take Japanese language and how to behave societal classes as part of a approval process for visa screenings. Fuck yes. I 1000% approve of this. What does it say here? The Japanese government is considering a social inclusion program that would make Japanese language and cultural education mandatory for foreigners as part of their visa screening process. Why the fuck have we been not doing that right now? Jesus. Program is intended to reduce misunderstanding, social friction, and xenophobia between foreign residents and local communities. Holy shit. You mean we've been talking about the same shit this whole time? Wow. It's almost like we've been talking about the same shit this whole time, except you want to kill me for it. And I'm just simply trying to point out facts around it. What a concept. Oh my God. So credit to Japan for that. I'll look into that more a little bit later. And then, Okay, that's that's amazing. Uh, yeah, if you haven't watched Stranger Things yet, this is an amazing meme right here because it's got Dahmer in the back. I'm not gonna say why I'm laughing or why it's amazing, but if you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, look it up. So, and then we'll just hop real quick over to let me hop over to X real quick and we'll just see what's going on there and then we'll finish it up. Let's yeah. Let me refresh this real quick. Bam, 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 bam. Okay. So let's see what's going on in X. Well, let's see. I locked the door and said no. He ditched Christmas parties and models to spend 12 hours alone watching Lord of the Rings Extended Edition. That is why Henry Cavill is, to me, he's a god. He is a legend. He is amazing, and he is the real Superman. He is what should and what was and should be today. The man is is just a genius. He's amazing, and if that's real, God bless him, because that's exactly what you should have been doing. If you have not watched the Lord of the Rings extended version at all this year or last year, Christmas season, shame on you. Stop this right now or watch this for a few more minutes and then go and start watching the Lord of the Rings extended version because that's the only thing you should be doing this Christmas season other than watching Home Alone. So, again, let's see. The amount of men who are absolutely done with women right now is crazy. They are neither bitter nor lonely. They are just completely over they are just completely over any long-term relationships and marriage. Congrats, females. You all fumbled an entire gender. Yep, gonna like that one because that's a fact. And then we're gonna talk about this more later, but I've been kind of seeing a lot of this. It's just kind of around this whole white guilt topic. What does this one say? White guilt is the engine of demographic replacement. A people that doubts its right to exist will never resist being replaced. Survival begins where guilt ends. And yeah, I agree with that. We're gonna talk about that not now, but maybe another time. I'm done. I mean, I didn't even have it from the beginning. I'm actually quite proud to be white because I don't see a problem with it. And if you have a problem with that, why is it okay for everybody else to be proud of their Caucasianness or whatever XYZ and I'm not? Why is that a problem? Doesn't make me racist, doesn't make me a bigot, or quite frankly, I've been called racist and bigot enough now that it just doesn't have any meaning. Because again, I don't really care what you look like, what your skin color is, what your heritage, culture is. I just care if you're a good human being. Because let's face it, I've had more death threats, more threats of violence towards me just because I'm a Trump supporter than anything in between. If you really want to go into it, which again, I got to play it careful, but let's just say that allegedly a place of work that I might go to quite frankly, has said more things that would be fireable offenses that never ever actually come to fruition in that regard. But God forbid if I said something remotely similar to what some of these alleged coworkers say, good God, I'd be out that door in 2 seconds with what is it, a pink slip fire? Basically, I'd be fired in a second with what some of the others have said in regards to potentially maybe some of my viewpoints. But God forbid we have differing viewpoints because, yeah, you know what? We're tired of it. We don't have guilt towards the insanity that's going on right now. When there's billions of dollars of fraudulent activity going on with Somalian daycares, when there's millions of illegal immigrants pouring into the country, unvetted, that have killed innocent people and children and everything in between, we are done pretending or even remotely caring regarding the fact that if you're offended by it, just because you're offended doesn't mean that it's anything other than you're offended. That's just what it is. I'm going to be moving on with my day just as much as you should with yours. So, yeah. Anyway, again, not afraid to say it out loud anymore because, again, just to be clear, don't give a shit what you are, up, down, left, right, brown, white, yellow, orange, whatever color, etc. Just be a good human. That's really all it takes. And if that is something that, I don't know, triggers you, just like this firearm with a trigger right here, I recommend take a look in the mirror and maybe just start to reevaluate and wonder, maybe it's me. Let's see what else here. FBI can arrest state governors for misuse of federal funds. That would be amazing if it came to Tim Walz, of course, in Minnesota. And oh yeah, common news. How are you feeling about Seattle's new mayor, Katie Wilson, and her direction on the city? 84% have major concerns. But here's where, and we'll wrap this episode up. So let me get back to Solo here. This is where we'll kind of wrap this episode up. So yeah, if you don't know, Seattle decided to put a 43-year-old socialist, just like Mandani. Oh yeah, we'll get into that another time. Mandani was sworn in under a Quran, the same Quran that basically wants death to the West. So that's fun. But yeah, Seattle put a 43-year-old socialist in office for their mayoral race. And yeah, everybody's freaking out about it. But here's the problem. Nobody showed up to vote. So whose fault is it? Is it their fault, the ones that won? Or is it our fault because we didn't show up to vote? Now, I obviously am not ready. I'm not able to vote yet because I'm not an American citizen. I'm this close. But what it comes down to really, as I've said 1,000 times here, it's a broken record, it's spot of nerd. If you don't show up to vote, there's no one else to blame. So let's be honest. If you ask me bluntly, Seattle is on the tipping verge of becoming it's a horrible place. It's just a horrible, horrible place. I wouldn't dare step foot downtown unless my life depended on it because it is covered in human excrement. It is covered in graffiti. It's just a demilitarized zone. And I'm going to say that out loud. Don't really care. Could we change that? I don't know if you could. I really don't know if you actually can change just because of the level of corruption that goes on in Seattle itself. But what I'm ultimately getting at with this point is to wrap this episode up is we can't make the necessary changes if we're not going out and making the votes. So I would encourage you, if you're able to, I know a lot of us that are on the quote unquote right have jobs. I'd recommend you get out and do a vote because that's the only way things are going to change. Similar gun laws they're trying to pass here in Washington about, open carrying, about basically next, I think it is this year, as the new laws are kicking in where you have to have like a class to get a carry permit. I actually agree with that. I really do. I do think it'd be kind of good for if you are a gun owner to take a 1 to 2 hour class to be able to carry. I do think I actually agree with you on that one. But ultimately, again, the idea behind getting rid of guns altogether is completely unconstitutional. And I just see this new mayor in Seattle. If you thought Seattle was bad before, it's only going to get worse. But the only way it's going to change is if you vote. And I know voting, again, we've looked at the way the world is right now. That can even be a joke in itself, just the way things are. But ultimately, it's going to be the only way it's the only way that things are ever going to change in the other direction to get back on track. So again, I know that's a bit of a pipe dream, but hey, maybe worse things have happened, shall we say. We'll just go with that. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this episode up. I want to send huge thanks if you've made it this far, just like any other video. Tell me your comments, your thoughts, your comments, blah, 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 blah. Give me the likes, subscribes everywhere you can, specifically Rumble, because that's the place to be. What else am I missing? I think that's it. Oh yeah, if you ever want to join, give me a shout, message me. I know one or two of you watch, which I really appreciate this, but ultimately, if you ever want to join in on the conversation, I'd love to have you. Even if it's a differing opinion, just be respectful, be a human being, like I say, because that's all we ask for. But anyway, we'll see if I can roll this out in a good way. We'll catch you guys next time. Laters, y'all.